but the attention span is only relevant to the three categories that I mentioned. In undivided attention, there is no attention span. Hi everyone, welcome to Mindful Adventures. The first question: what is your secret to multitasking? There are so many things to do, and I feel like I'm always rushing from one thing to the next, even right after yoga and meditation. Also, your satsangs. I hardly have the patience to sit through it. Please help. Again, what is your secret to multitasking? There are so many things to do, and I feel like I'm always rushing from one thing to the next, even right after yoga and meditation. Also, your satsangs. I hardly have the patience to sit through it. Please help. So the secret to multitasking is that I don't believe in multitasking. Multitasking, this concept, may imply that multiple tasks, multiple actions can be performed at the exact same time. And even when you see doctors, nurses, and surgeons working quickly, performing various tasks, each action is performed in just the right moment, and this symphony of actions and tasks that are being performed by multiple people, all of these actions together form a process. So multitasking are various tasks within a process, and the misunderstanding that's there is that one can juggle all of these various tasks, and in doing so, stress arises, confusion, and rushing from one thing to the next. So why would you want to multitask? Inquire. What is it that I'm trying to do? Why am I rushing from one action to the next? Even stronger would be, where am I going? I see so many who are rushing, mindlessly rushing from one thing to the next. Always in a hurry, always on the go. And I've even asked a few people before, why are you rushing? What's the hurry? And what I found is that most people that I ask, they don't really know exactly what it is that they're in a hurry for. And all of the actions that are being performed in a moment of intense rush, stress, and hurry, they're unable to account for those actions. So in multitasking, it means that the attention can be divided or diverted in different directions. That's if you choose to hold the belief or concept of multitasking. And in choosing this concept of multitasking, it gives rise to different types of divided attention. Scientists have done some research, and I think there's maybe 3 different categories of attention. The first category of attention is divided attention. It's exactly what it sounds like. The attention is divided in 2 different directions. It's split, we'll say, between what's going on inside and then shifting to that which is outside, or paying attention to one's phone and then occasionally looking up at the television, or actually paying attention to the phone and then also attention to different perceptions that are arising. Then you have selective attention, where you pick and choose where to direct the attention. Let's say you're in the middle of a crowd, walking through a crowd, and the voices and the movement and all of the action is taking place. And yet you choose, or you select, one point of attention out of all of the perceptions that are arising. And then you have the third category of attention, which is sustained attention, focusing on one thing with concentration. Sustained attention has a sense of focus, effort. I say that it is effort, and tension can be generated due to the fact that there's the sustainer, the one who is sustaining the attention, and the sustained. So if you're sustaining something, that requires effort and energy. Now, if we look at all 3 categories of attention, divided, selective, and sustained attention, all 3 are divided. Really, it's all just divided attention. And in multitasking, you would be accessing one of these 3 types or categories of attention, but it's all divided attention. However, there's a 4th category. It's undivided attention. Undivided attention is when the one who is attending and the object that is being attended to are undivided. There's unison, wholeness. And many can attest to what happens when you're in the zone. This zone, when everything is flowing and moving, being in the zone is like undivided attention. And when you're in the zone, actions may take place, movement also takes place. Time is flying by, and that which seems like 30 minutes or an hour in the zone of undivided attention, it goes by just like that. I'm sure many have experienced this before. When I've painted, being so engaged in the painting to where I disappear as the artist. I disappear as the painter. And even the painting itself becomes irrelevant. And there's no division. It's just creation taking place in silence, in spaciousness. No division. No division between the space and the objects that are appearing in that space. And in undivided attention, no rush, no hurry, no one thing, no next thing. Everything is as it is in the moment, which is eternal. No before, no after. It's just what is. In the attempt to get so much done, something very precious and priceless is missed, and I would even go as far as saying that it is avoided. Unconsciously avoided. And what is being avoided? The empty silence that is in between each action, the space in which actions arise and dissipate back into. Whether it is the gap in between breaths, the silence in between words, the silence in between sounds, the inactivity between activities. And one would be wise to inquire with oneself, what am I avoiding in filling my days and my nights with so much activity, rushing from one thing to the next? What am I avoiding? Is there anything to avoid? if one is able to sit silently with one's own silence and emptiness, and facing that which is being avoided, one comes to see that there is tremendous energy, life, beyond all of these things that we are so hypnotized and driven by, that create the sense of hurry and rush. In turning the attention from the actions to the space in which the actions appear in, suddenly, no rush, no hurry, no stress. And possibly a glimpse of eternity. A glimpse of oneself. Multitasking is for the computers, for multiple processes to be performed at once. But research shows that multitasking is not conducive to one's intelligence. It's a skill that is praised in business, even now in personal development. You know, people are talking multitasking. Can you multitask? Can you multitask? No, I don't multitask. Unless we would choose to become robotic, automatic, and unaware and inattentive, I say drop the idea of multitasking, and then you really see the value in every act getting its undivided attention. It's not how much you perform or how much you complete or how much you do, it's the quality of every action. And everything that's moving appears in the immovable. All actions arise from inaction. So taste the opposite polarity, the other side. Non-action, inaction. And see. In a way, it's like a ceiling fan. You turn off the switch, And sure, the fan may keep spinning for a little more time. The mind may continue to chatter and move from one thing to the next. But as awareness, witnessing that, you see that all tasks, multitasking, and all actions happen on their own accord. Say also, your satsangs, I hardly have the patience to sit through it. Please help. Yes, I recently heard someone say, people like sound bites, they like short videos. People like short messages. Forgive me, I'm not here for likes and dislikes. Moment by moment, in slowing down, that which is missed, that which is overlooked, that which has real value, can be grasped, perceived, integrated. Sound bites and all of the quickness and rushing, that's for the head. And slowing down, in right attentiveness, awareness, you move from the head to the heart. Some space opens up for truth, for knowing oneself. For grace, for peace, for silence. And I understand that we've been conditioned to believe in something called the attention span. But the attention span is only relevant to the three categories that I mentioned. In undivided attention, there is no attention span. No attention span. How can there be an attention span? How can there be a distance or a measurement, a span of attention in undivided attention? So, slow down, take your time, forget about multitasking, give each moment, each act, undivided attention, and see for yourself. In rushing from one thing to the next, in slowing down, you may get a glimpse of something that is being avoided, and in giving loving attention, undivided attention to that, then each act has a quality and a beauty of its own. The next question. I've heard you mention memory and imagination a few times before, and it's obvious that the link between them may be used to create our matrix. But you haven't said exactly how to break free. Why not? Again, I've heard you mention memory and imagination a few times before, and it's obvious that the link between them may be used to create our matrix. But you haven't said exactly how to break free. Why not? You say that it's obvious that the link between them may be used to create our matrix. That's interesting. And you remember, I have mentioned memory and imagination, but this link between them is you. So you are the matrix. So many are talking of breaking free of the matrix and transcending the matrix. You are the matrix. You are the link between memory and imagination. Both memory and imagination appear in you. Although you are not that, there's access to this or that. So, how am I supposed to say it? How to break free? You are the matrix. And in misidentifying with memory or imagination, the prison that you would like to break free from is there. And not identifying, not clinging to this or that, neti, one sees that there is no matrix. There can be. It doesn't have to be. So how to break free from an illusion when the matrix, the prison, is the link, the common denominator between illusions? Going inwards, inquiring, who am I? Or what is here now? Neti, not this or that. Just what is. The next question. How to explain to someone that you've outgrown them? Again, how to explain to someone that you've outgrown them? I don't know if an explanation is required. when it comes to outgrowing, when kids outgrow their clothes, it is what it is. The clothes no longer fit. And there isn't really a lot of discussion about it or psychoanalyzing. It just doesn't fit. And every relationship gives an opportunity to know oneself, to see another dimension of oneself being expressed and rising to the surface. And since all is the self, it's up to you to see what is it that you have outgrown, or what is it that you are shunning away and rejecting due to this identification with being something greater with someone lesser, or someone more spiritual or more motivated with someone who's less. This comparison is what's creating the division in the first place. I say that in real outgrowth, it is not that one being is outgrowing another. Everything's moving, everything is growing. It may be that the understanding of oneself is expanding, and in this awareness, the light of awareness expanding and seeing more and more and more, moving towards total seeing, there may be glimpses that are reflected from other beings that may not be so pretty and nice to sit with. And the mind, the ego, can take this as an opportunity to say, I've outgrown them. And then the sudden urge to flee may arise. So just check in with oneself and see if this is the case. Is there resistance, escape, avoidance, even a tiny speck of it? And if so, then use this as an opportunity to go into what is being escaped, that is a reflection of oneself, appearing in the other, but there are no others. Therefore, it comes back to you. These things are very tricky. The mind is so subtle, and its trickery and illusions. Now, there are cases where if there is abuse, physical or verbal abuse, sexual abuse, any type of abuse, then this challenge also must be faced, realized, and in the moment when the moment arises, to let go and to move on and to get out of that situation, take that moment. No need to think. Just go. And I've heard many say that even these abusive situations can be used to go deeper in self-knowing. While it is true, I caution not to get too don't get too fixated on this idea that may, put you in harm's way. When it comes time to escape, escape. And I'm referring to the abusive situations, but from what I gather in your question, you say outgrow. And growth or outgrowing, that doesn't have the sense of an abusive situation. I'm just pointing out the distinction in case there's a listener who's going through that situation. However, for you, what is it that you've outgrown? Is it a dimension of oneself that is being reflected that you'd rather avoid? Or can you share space? You are the space, by the way, in which so-called perceived others appear in. If it is possible, and it is, to go deeper in self-knowing through the relationship, then take the opportunity. And when the moment arises to part ways, it'll happen naturally, without needing to analyze and get lost in thought of how to explain, how do I say it, what to say, when to say. And all of that is just wasting time. It's postponing. So rest in awareness. Right attentiveness of whatever this relationship is bringing up within you. Go into that. Go in. And if you feel comfortable, let me know how that goes. May all abide in awareness. Namaste.